Hi, this is John Downey, Executive Director of the Cleaning Industry Research Institute. I am here with Dr. Jeffrey Siegel of the University of Toronto. Dr. Siegel will present CIRI's next webinar, Air Cleaning and Ventilation in the Age of COVID-19, next Wednesday, February 17th at 1:00 p.m. Dr. Siegel, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. It's great to have you. Okay, your webinar is on air cleaning and ventilation and how that affects COVID transmission. You've done a lot of IAQ research over the years. Can you tell us how you've been applying this body of research and the challenges, I should say, of COVID?
Yeah, I mean, so fundamentally what's going on with COVID is we've known since very early on that most of the transmission is happening indoors. And so what I've tried to do is take all the things we know about the indoor environment, things like ventilation and filtration, and look at both what's the evidence basis for the use of those things to reduce the risk of COVID-19 transmission, but also look at, you know, how we use things like ventilation and filtration effectively to protect all of us in buildings.
Great, thank you. Okay, so lately we've seen a rash of articles that suggest we do not need to be concerned about cleaning surfaces, that only the air matters. What are your views about this?
Yeah, you know, I think that that's a kind of a partial view and not a very complete view. And I'll talk about some of the factors why I think that is. I think number one is we have seen a lot of transmission in some environments. Around me, we've seen a lot of outbreaks in, for example, meat packing plants. And there we know the surfaces are cold and the conditions are quite favorable for the survival of the SARS-CoV-2 virus. And so I think that in some environments, the surfaces are important. The second issue is that we've seen recently research around what I'm going to call resuspension. So that's a particle or a droplet that lands on a surface, and because that surface gets disturbed or there's airflow near the surface, can go back in the air. And what we've learned recently this summer, at least for the flu virus, is that it can still be infective after it goes through that process. And so another thing that I think might be going on is the air and the surfaces communicate with each other, and we might be getting some transmission risk that way. And then the third thing is probably the biggest thing, is that a lot of the surface research that you're referring to happens on these very idealized surfaces in a laboratory test. And, you know, from studying the indoor environment, real indoor surfaces are nothing like those idealized surfaces. They have layers of organic, volatile and semi-volatile material, dust, microorganisms, water, all kinds of things on them. And so I'm going to guess that there's a pretty big difference between a perfect surface in a laboratory and a real surface in a building.
For sure. Great information. Thank you, Dr. Siegel. I can't wait for your full seminar. Webinar, I should say. And again, that's next Wednesday, February 17th at 1:00. If you'd like to attend, click the registration link that comes with this video. Thank you.
Looking forward to it.